Hello, what we're going to be covering in this video is an inheritance example in Python. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a class named Flower, which will be a subclass that inherits from the plant class that we created in the class video. So the Flower class should have two additional instance attributes, is annual as a string and the flower color as a string. The flower class should include an init and str methods. The flower class init and str methods must make a call to super to access the plant's methods. After the flower code, we're going to prompt the user to enter a flower name, flower cost, flower quantity is annual, and flower color for flower. We're going to instantiate a flower object by passing the user's input as the arguments and display the flower's attributes by calling the str method. And then finally, we're going to call the inventory cost method to display the inventory cost of the flower. So let's go ahead. I've already created the program, so we're just going to go ahead and run through the program line by line. So let me just go ahead and open up the file. So let me expand this a little bit here so it's all included. So again, in the class video, we created the class definition. So what we have is we have a plant class definition. A plant has a plant name, a plant cost, and a plant quantity. And we have the str method that'll go ahead and display the plant name, the plant cost, and the plant quantity. And then we have the inventory cost method that'll go ahead and calculate the cost of the inventory for that specific plant. So what we need to do next is we need to go ahead and define our flower class, and it will inherit from the plant class, and it'll have two additional attributes, is annual and color of flower. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and specify the keyword class, the name of our class, and the class that we're going to be inheriting from in parentheses. So again, we're going to be inheriting from the plant class. When we inherit from a class, we inherit all of the attributes and methods defined on that parent class. So we inherit the plant name, the plant cost, the plant quantity, the str, and the inventory cost methods. So after that, what we need to do is we need to define our init method. And again, init is two underscores before and after it. We would use the def keyword to let Python know we're defining a method or a function. And then again, we need to pass in self. And again, self is the first parameter will always be a variable called self. When a new class instance is created, the instance is automatically passed to the self parameter in the init function so that new attributes can be defined on that object. So again, you need to specify self as your first parameter, and then we need to specify the flower name, flower cost, and flower quantity. Again, we're going to inherit that information from the parent class. And then is annual and color of flowers, which are the new attributes for our flower class. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and call the init of our superclass or our plant class, which is the class we're inheriting from. And what we do is we go ahead and pass in the flower name, flower cost, and flower quantity. That'll go ahead and instantiate those attributes for our flower. Again, we inherit those three attributes from our plant class. And then after we go ahead and we create those three attributes and set them, then what we're going to do is we're going to set the two attributes that belong to our flower class. So it's just self.isAnnual, we'll use dot notation, is equal to isAnnual that was passed in, and color of flowers that was passed in. So what that'll do when it's called is it'll go ahead and create an instance of a flower or a flower object. And then we have our str method. So again, when you define that method, it's 2 underscores before and 2 underscores after the str. And then we just include self as the parameter, so we know what class we want to display the information about. And then the first thing we're going to do, like the instructions say, is we're just going to make a call to super. So when we make that call to our super, what that'll do is that'll go ahead and print out the name of the flower, the cost of the flower, and the quantity of the flower that has been defined on our instance. After that, then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and concatenate what the string that we've defined up above with the string that'll go ahead and print out the annual and the color of flowers information all on a new line. So that is our str method for our flower class. So that is the definition of our flower class is included within here. Again, any methods defined underneath the flower class have to be indented. So after that, we have the initial information to create a plant. So what we're going to do is we're going to create both a plant and a flower in the following code. So again, we're prompting the user for the plant's name, plant's cost, and the number of plants. And then we're doing the same thing for our flower information. Again, you can see a different we're using a different variable name, f cost, and f quantity versus p name, p cost, and p quantity. Again, our cost is going to be our float, and our quantity is going to be an integer, and then the user is going to enter either a yes or no if the plant is an annual, and then the flower's color. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create an instance of our plant. So when we create that instance of our plant, we'll pass in the 3 arguments, the p name, p cost, and p quantity to create that plant instance. And when we create the instance of the flower, we'll pass in the attributes, the arguments, the information that was saved in our f name, f cost, f quantity, annual, and color variables. So that'll create both an instance first on line 40 of our plant and line 41 of a flower. And then we're going to print the information out for our plant. So again, in order to call the str method in our plant class, all we have to do is pass in the name of our object or instance that was created, and that'll print out the str information or the information for each one of our instance attributes. And then we're going to use dot notation to call the inventory cost function on our myPlant object or instance, and we're going to format it with 2 decimal places to the right. And then after that, we're going to print out the flower information. So we're going to call the str method for our flower. So again, all we have to do is pass in the name of the object or instance of the flower that we created. And that'll go ahead and first it'll call our super. So that'll display the flower's name, flower's cost, and flower's quantity, and then it'll display if it's an annual and the color of the flowers. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and since we inherit the inventory cost method that was defined on the plant, we can just go ahead and call that method, and what it's going to do is it'll return the inventory cost for the flower, and it'll just format it with 2 places to the right of the decimal place. So we're going to go ahead and run this a couple of times. So let me just go ahead and run it first time through. I'm just going to type in fern, again, $4.99, a quantity of 5. And then we're going to enter our flower name. It's going to be a petunia. And the flowers cost, I don't know, $5.66. And there'll be 3 of them. And this is a petunia is an annual, so I'll just type in yes. And then the color, it'll be a red petunia. So what we have here is we printed out our fern information, and then we printed out our petunia information with the total cost. Looks like the total cost is getting calculated. It is an annual. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it through one more time. And this time it'll just be a spider plant for the plant, and $10.99. And there'll be 10 of those in inventory. And then what we're going to, it'll be Black-Eyed Susan for the flower's name. They're going to be $4.35. We'll do 7 of those, and Black-Eyed Susan is not an annual, so we'll enter no, and the color will be yellow. So again, what we do is we print out the plant name, spider plant, $10.99, a quantity of 10. It prints out the total inventory cost. Black-Eyed Susan, a cost of $4.35. Quantity of 7 in annual, it's no. Color of the flowers are yellow, and the total inventory cost is $30.45. So what we just covered is a short example of how you could go ahead and use inheritance with Python. So that's all I have for this video. We will talk to you later.